I would argue having a great car shampoo in your detailing arsenal is one of the most vital products you will have. These play a big role in not only keeping our car clean, but keeping the surface scratch-free and maintained. These have to have great detergents to break down dirt and grime, great surfactants to actually lift away that dirt and grime, as well as great lubrication so that when we are actually touching our vehicle during our wash process, we're not marring up the surface. But importantly, they can't break the bank. I get the question all the time, Colton, what is the best car shampoo on the market? Well, today I'm going to attempt to answer that question. I have purchased 22 of the most popular car shampoos on the market, and today we're going to be putting them through a multitude of tests, trying to rank them from best, of which you should absolutely spend your money on, to worst, of which you should completely avoid. Welcome back to the channel. Let's jump into it. Well, everyone, thanks for being here today, and I am so excited to be sharing this video for you guys because I've actually already done the testing here, and honestly, I'm quite surprised at how big of difference is from extremely good to really poor performance we have between all of these soaps at very different price points, at very different concentrations. And I think this gets back into the world of what I've been talking a lot about lately. There is so much marketing when it comes to detailing products in the industry. You just look at car shampoos, for example, every single company claiming they have the most detergents, the best cleaning power, the thickest, richest snow foam, the most amount of lubrication, and the most concentration out there. And I can tell you guys from this test, we're going to expose a lot of these products here. Now, in my eyes, a car shampoo really needs to cover a lot of the bases. Number one, it needs to be great in a bucket. It needs to produce ample amounts of foam that's going to last quite well and also have great feel on the panel. You don't want something that drags a lot, has way too many detergents on it, dries your hands out, is not great on the car. You also, of course, want to have something that produces great snow foam, something that is maybe not the thickest in the world, but that is actually going to stay put on the vehicle so that when you're foaming down the vehicle, by the time you get around to the other side, you actually have foam remaining on there to give you that lubrication when you're actually washing your vehicle. Another couple of categories I want to look at here are, of course, the concentration of these products and their price per wash. This is a big deal, and you will see, like I said, a multitude of very wildly different concentrations here. Some of these products you can get away with using very little product. Other products claim that they are super concentrated, and you realize, especially in a foam cannon, you are going to have to use a ton of product to actually make them foam up properly. And that brings us here into the big differentiator of what I'm going to be doing with this test. I see a lot of YouTubers out there test car shampoos, pH neutral shampoos in general, utilizing very low flow pressure washers. Well, I'm going to do things differently. That, my friends, is an AR635. If you know anything about that pressure washer, you'll know a lot of soaps struggle with producing any sort of snow foam on it. And that's why today we're going to be exposing these products and showcasing to you what you're actually paying for. Super concentrated, high quality ingredients, or just getting shipped a bunch of water. I also want to, of course, look at the viscosity of these products. And this is really coming out of an annoyance from using different car shampoos out there. Some of these are super thick, honey-like, molasses-like, and you try and mix them in a foam cannon, in a bucket, and they just glob up with a bunch of soap, and they're impossible to actually get mixed up unless you use some warm water, lots of shaking, lots of frustration. We'll also talk about the pH values of each one of these products because some of them claim to be pH neutral when they're actually pH balanced, maybe slightly alkaline, slightly acidic on one side. We'll talk about the overall performance of these in terms of slickness and feel, as well as go through and give some subjective feedback on how these smell. I know for a lot of you, this is a big ordeal, but one of the biggest ordeals, one of the biggest categories we're going to talk about here is cost per wash. So that brings me into how we're actually going to be doing our testing today. Now, in our bucket wash, we're only going to use 1 ounce of product unless the product actually says to use less than that. Some of these claim to be hyper concentrated, a 1 to 500 dilution ratio in our bucket, even up to a 1 to 2,000 dilution ratio in a bucket, and we'll see how those actually compare to each other. Then, of course, like I said, we're going to use it in a foam cannon, utilizing the AR635 to expose the super concentrated versus pretty weak snow foams out there. We're going to use 2 ounces in a 1,000 milliliter solution, so we have a good standardized tests throughout these to see what kind of snow foam they produce and compare all of them in between. Like I said, all of these categories are going to play into one, and at the end of this, I'm going to go through and actually rank each and every one of these products from S tier, a damn near perfect car shampoo, to F tier, something you should completely avoid. So I spent a ton of time, quite a bit of money purchasing all of these products. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's dive into the action. I want to start off in the rankings here with the product that really changed my mind on using super concentrated soaps, and that is DIY Detail Incredible Suds Type 2. Previously, as a business owner, I would look at a lot of these car shampoos that were super expensive and I just be like, I don't need those. I can get away with using something cheaper. They do just fine job. And then I got the AR635, started playing around with the Active 3.0, and I realized with a lot of these products sitting here on the table, you are using 4, 5, sometimes even 6 ounces of car shampoo to get any sort of reasonable snow foam. And then I realized paying for more high quality products that are super concentrated really makes a lot of sense. And DIY Detail Incredible Suds is super impressive. The snow foam on this is unbelievable. Again, at only 2 ounces here, produces very thick, very rich snow foam on a super high flow pressure washer. What I'm most impressed about the foam here is its cling time. It just stays there. So when I do come around the vehicle, I still have lubrication there to actually safely wash the vehicle. Even using this in a bucket, pretty darn amazing. You can go down to ½ an ounce of product per 10 liters of water and still get great suds inside of there. If you want a little bit more slickness, bump it up to an ounce there. You need absolutely no more than this. The biggest issue with this product for me, it's a little on the thick side. Mixing it can be quite a pain in the butt and leaves a lot of residue on your measuring cups and can just be kind of tricky to get mixed in. The other issue with this product, I do think this is quite expensive for most people. This retailing at $84.99 is going to cost you $1.99 per wash. So it is quite expensive compared to a couple of other soaps here, of which you can get for a little bit cheaper and also still get the same, if not even slightly better performance here. This is actually a pH balanced shampoo here. So the SDS sheet claims a 6 to 10 on the pH. I actually measured this as an 8.5, completely undiluted. Of course, by the time you dilute this down in your foam cannon with your PIR onto the panel, this is going to be more pH neutral. But a fantastic shampoo here that is going to end up in A tier. An excellent shampoo, just wish it was a little cheaper and a little less thick. Let's move on to a staple in the car care industry, Adam's Car Shampoo. This is actually a true pH neutral car shampoo, coming in at a 7 pH, exactly neutral here. And this is a product I'm sure a lot of you have used. This, in my eyes, is an okay product. I think for a low flow pressure washer, this is totally fine. On an AR635, you can really see how much this struggles to produce any sort of snow foam with that same 2 ounce dilution here. This product, for me, one of the biggest drawbacks to it is it is just far too thick. This stuff is like honey, it's like molasses. You put it in a foam cannon, it just sits at the bottom. It's really hard to actually mix up. It has an okay cost per wash. It's actually a pretty inexpensive car shampoo. I'd recommend, if you're looking at a product like this, to pick it up on sale, because every other day Adams has a product on sale. But I do not think this product is anything more than average. This, for me, is a good product to start out with, but there's definitely better products out there. There's definitely worse, but a good, safe pH neutral shampoo here, so putting it in C tier as an average product. Sticking with the Adams family here, we have Adams Mega Foam. This basically takes the car shampoo and dials it up to 11. This honestly fixes a lot of the issues I had with Adams Car Shampoo. Definitely way more concentrated here. As you can see, very thick, very rich snow foam. Importantly though, not the best snow foam we've seen here today. This has great dwell time on it. It is a little on the runnier side, which I am totally okay with. I'm not one of those guys who needs absolutely shaving cream style snow foam, but this absolutely will cling on the vehicle. By the time you get around to it, you can come in, have great lubrication, and that's one of the best things about this. The bucket feel on this, almost velvety bubbles, super tight micro bubbles in there, and you feel that actually on the vehicle. Great slickness, great lubrication, and for me, one of the best things about this, for the concentration of this soap, it's one of the more inexpensive ones. Now, the retail price of this, $69.99, quite expensive. Like I said, again, with Adams Car Shampoo, wait until there is in a sale. Honestly, probably wait 2 to 3 days. There's going to be another sale. Get this stuff on sale, and it is a phenomenal value. So for me, guys, this is our first and maybe only S tier product of the day, given its performance, given its overall concentration, the ease of being able to actually mix it in a foam cannon. This is a super impressive product. Next, we're going to move on here to one of the OGs, and that is CarPro Reset. This is a product that has been around for years. A lot of people love, and I totally understand why. This is a super high quality car shampoo. Now, importantly, this is a little bit more on the alkaline side. The SDS sheet claims a 10 pH. I actually got quite a bit less, more around that 8.5 range there, but still packs a little bit more punch here. What I love about this product, number one, it smells phenomenal. When you're working with this product, it's super pleasant. It feels like you are actually doing cleaning things with it. And the great thing about this is it produced pretty decent snow foam. Importantly, not the best here today, but overall a nice rich lather that does stick around quite a bit and has great feel on the panel. It is not the slickest one out there, and that's okay because you're really paying for the surfactants here, the detergents inside of this, because again, like I said, this is more of an intense car shampoo here. I am really impressed with this product when it comes to actually mixing it. Using it at 1 to 500 in a bucket is plenty of foam in the bucket and feels absolutely great. My biggest issue with this product is it is a little more on the expensive side. The effective cost per gallon around $85. It definitely does break the bank a little bit. And given its performance here, this for me is an A tier product. This bridges almost to an S tier product, but being it's a little expensive and not the greatest snow foam here, I think this deserves a very solid A tier. Next, we move on here to Chemical Guys, and this is their HoneyDew Snow Foam. This is a product that I know quite a few of you have probably used in the past. I actually started out my detailing career using this product when I had low flow pressure washers. I was pretty impressed with it. This is a reasonably priced product, but in my impression, these days, this really doesn't excel anywhere. It's pretty darn cheap, but not the cheapest out there. It's a little bit too thick for me, and although they claim it's very high suds, you guys can see here the foam cannon performance at 2 ounces, pretty darn miserable. The bucket foam was okay, the feel on the panel was okay. This for me though, guys, is definitely a below average product. I would put this as a D tier. Yeah, it's absolutely gonna get the job done here, but I think there are absolutely better soaps out there that are more concentrated, provide more lubrication, and just a better all over product. Next, we move on here to Gyeon Bathe. This is the only product here with a little pump spout on it, which I don't absolutely love. You can always take that off, of course, but this is also one that really confused me. I looked up the SDS sheet for each and every one of these products. On the SDS sheet, they claim a pH of 8. On the website, they claim a pH of 6, but it is also pH neutral. So is it pH balanced? Is it alkaline? Is it acidic? Or what the heck is it? So that's definitely a little bit confusing. This was a product I've very much overlooked for many years, and I just thought there was better stuff out there. And that's kind of what I feel here today. Overall though, this is a pretty good product. I would definitely put this at a B tier, an above average product. Produced pretty okay snow foam, not the most amazing for sure, but overall pretty good. I really do like the slickness of this. I like how thin this product is. It actually mixes really nice. But in general, I think this is nothing more than above average from most of these products that we've tested here today. Still confused on the actual pH value of this specific product here. Next, we move on to Armour Detail Supply's Shampoo Plus. Now, in general, the line of Armour Detail Supply products I have been really impressed by. But I gotta say, this one falls a little short for me. This product is not super expensive, falls somewhere on the higher end for sure, but I think as you can see here, pretty lackluster foam out of this. I have definitely used this on lower flow pressure washers and I've gotten decent shampoo, but again, looking here at the concentration versus a lot of these other products, it really falls short there. It does have great thinness to this, and that's one of the biggest benefits of this product. It really mixes very nicely, but for me, again, it very much lacks on the concentration of it. The overall feel is okay, but not my favorite. I think for me, this is really a C tier product. Very average for me, and in fact, I think there's a lot better soaps over here of which you can spend maybe slightly more, maybe slightly less to just get a better overall product in general. I'd like to see this product revamped. I've actually heard from the ADS guys that they're going to be working on a new Shampoo Plus, so I'm anxious to try that out because, like I said again, this for me does fall a little short. Labocsometica Semper was a product I was extraordinarily excited to try. I've been really impressed by the line of Labocsometica products, and they claimed a hyper concentration of a pH neutral shampoo here. And offering up to a 1 to 1500 bucket dilution ratio, gotta say, this is where this product shines. This in a bucket is one of the best in the bunch here. Almost a velvety feel. Those micro bubbles you get here feels very, very concentrated. The interesting thing is when you actually put this in a foam cannon on a high flow machine here, it's okay. It's kind of above average, but nothing amazing. I have two main drawbacks with this product. Number one is the scent. And I am not necessarily like to draw a product down from scent, but this is pretty rough, to be honest. Now, being that I'm Italian, I feel like I'm okay to say this. This smells like an old Italian grandpa that spilled a bottle of cologne on him. It is super, super strong. My other big issue with this product, it is unbelievably expensive. At an effective cost per gallon of $99, there are far better products for way less money that don't smell as bad. So for me, this is a above average product. Given we could bring the price down and take away that really nasty smell, I think this could move into an A tier, low A tier, high B tier here. But for me, just an above average product. Moving on now to Gtechniq Gwash, and keeping with the consistent theme of being expensive, this was a product looking at the bottle I was pretty intrigued by. High foaming, extreme dirt cleaning here. I gotta say guys, this was a really underwhelming soap. Number one, uber thick, arguably one of the thickest here. Really, really nasty thick, just not easy to mix in a bucket, not easy to dilute down. I was really unimpressed. Then you get to the foam cannon performance. Really not great here. Again, you're not paying for the concentration with some of these products, and at rough cost of $89 a gallon, I am really struggling to like this one. The feel on this, not amazing. It is somewhat slick, but the real drawback here for me was actually in the bucket. Had quite large bubbles, didn't have that real velvety feel. Now that could come from the extreme cleaning power, as they claim, being that it has a little bit more detergents and surfactants in it. That's fine, but I think for me, this is gonna be a D tier, a below average product, given the price point, given how unbelievably annoyingly thick this product is. An absolute below average score. Get ready for the comment section to bring out the pitchforks, because next we have Koch Chemie Gentle Snow Foam, of which I have called one of the most overrated detailing products. And as you can see here in this test, really, really underwhelming snow foam performance. At 2 ounces, this pretty much produces bubbles on your car. Okay, maybe it's slightly above average compared to some of these other products, but even at 4 ounces of this product per 1,000 milliliters of a foam cannon, it can't even touch some of these higher concentrated products. And that's one of my biggest issues with this product. Even in a bucket, using 1 ounce of it, after 3 minutes, the bubbles died down. They really were not impressive whatsoever. They actually claim using 50 milliliters per 10 liters of water, almost double, almost triple, almost quadruple some of these other products that are very heavily concentrated. The saving grace here for me is definitely the scent of this product and the actual feel on the panel. This product absolutely does feel great on the panel, but again, you are paying a ton of money for this product that is really not that concentrated, and for me produces very weak snow foam. I don't know where this product got such a popular demand for. Maybe influencers that are using 150 milliliters of snow foam in their foam cannon. I just don't get it. For me, this is absolutely nothing more, if not below average, but I'm gonna end up putting this in a C tier, an average product for GSF. Next, we move on here to Turtle Wax Pure Wash Slick and Slide. This actually came from viewer recommendations here. You guys absolutely love this product, and honestly, I can start to see why. This product is very, very inexpensive. A cost per wash here of about $1 using 2 ounces and using 1 ounce in our bucket. This is pretty darn decent in kind of every single category here. I was pretty impressed with how the snow foam actually was. Importantly, right after doing GSF, going to this, using the same dilution ratio, this had quite a bit better snow foam on it. Definitely above average, definitely not amazing, so it's not the most concentrated thing out there, but you could absolutely use a lot more of this product versus some of the expensive products out there and still get amazing snow foam. This has great bucket feel, also feels really, really nice on the panel. So for me, I think this product surprisingly really impressive here from Turtle Wax. This for me is a above average product, a B tier. Moving on now to Clean by Pan the Organizer's Shampoo V2 here. And this was a product I was pretty excited to try after experiencing V1, of which I personally would say was a little on the average here. Where I think this product excels at is it's very, very thin and seems pretty concentrated for a bucket. 1 to 500 dilution ratio feels actually pretty darn nice here. I really like how easily it mixes in a foam cannon. It smells very, very pleasant. The interesting thing here on the SDS sheet, a 7 to 10 pH. I measured it at a 9.1, so definitely more on the alkaline side, definitely giving you that cleaning punch you'll have. Again, you're going to get more towards neutral once you actually dilute this out, your effective PIR on the vehicle. The thing that really is a little lacking for me here is really kind of interesting. This was one of the only soaps I saw this happen. In terms of foaming it, the initial snow foam actually looked really great. As it started to dwell, it really started to break down that foam, and not necessarily in a pleasant way. It still had some decent cling there, but it grew some larger air bubbles, looked kind of dry and almost kind of thin in areas. And in fact, after trying the Turtle Wax Pure Wash over here, I actually overall preferred the foam cannon performance on this. And given that this is a more expensive product, it's definitely not the most expensive here for sure, I think this for me sits at a B tier, an above average product, definitely better than quite a few of these products here, but for me a little bit lacking on that foam. Again, on an AR635 here, but that's how we're doing this test. So for me, Clean by Pan the Organizer Shampoo V2 is a B tier. Well, you guys probably already know at this point, but I am a little bit of an idiot sometimes. And when I was actually purchasing these products, I wanted to include Gyeon in this test, and I saw Bathe, and then I saw Foam. I saw Foam was pH neutral, and I purchased it. Then it got here, and I read the bottle, and it says it's an effective pre-wash. And I was like, well, I'm an idiot. So that is our product here today. Now, I'm not going to be giving this a ranking, but I also want to bring up something super bizarre here. This says genuinely on the bottle, pH neutral. I'll show you some B-roll of it here. Now, like I told you, I also went through the SDS sheet on each and every one of these products. What do you guys think it says on the actual SDS? pH of 13. I don't know how the hell they are actually doing this, because they are claiming, again, a 1 to 5 dilution ratio here, that you're going to bring the pH of 13 down to pH neutral. That's not how the pH scale works. So this is going to be coming up in a dedicated video very, very soon against another at least claimed pH neutral shampoo. But that is super bizarre to me how they are actually doing that. And if that's true, that is super sketchy marketing, because they're claiming it's pH neutral when it is absolutely not. And again, going back to Gyeon Bathe, on the website literally says pH of 6, on the SDS sheet pH of 8. It's either one or the other. Yes, you can have ranges of products, but that has to be on the SDS sheet. Something is weird there with Gyeon, so we'll dive into that a little bit more in some upcoming videos. Next, we move on here to Meguiar Shampoo Plus. This actually used to be a product I used to use all the time. And again, being a business owner, I was very conscious about how much I was spending on products. And when I had lower flow pressure washers, this was a product you could use 2-3 ounces of soap and get pretty awesome snow foam. Use about 1 ounce in a bucket, maybe 2 ounces in a bucket, and it was pretty awesome. The best part about this is it was literally $26 a gallon. So effectively using it on a low flow pressure washer, pretty awesome. Now when you put it on the big boys, man, it sure struggles here. And that just shows you are not here paying for big concentration, super high quality products. Again, it absolutely gets the job done. So if you're starting out, this is actually a very phenomenal product to start out with. And I would say arguably very similar to Adam's Car Shampoo. This is a very thick product that produced very underwhelming snow foam. I do like the bucket performance and the feel on the panel, but for me guys, at this day and age, this is unfortunately a below average product, a D tier product, because there are absolutely better, more concentrated products out there that you're going to have to use less product overall. Now again, your effective cost could maybe be slightly different, even if you use 4 ounces of this, whatever. I'm at the point now I want to purchase very high quality products and support the companies that are actually not just shipping you a ton of water. So that's why for me, this is D tier, below average. Next we have here Meguiar's Hyperwash. And this is one a lot of you guys have been asking for since I used to actually really like Shampoo Plus from Meguiar's. And I gotta say, for low flow pressure washers, this is probably fine. But the interesting thing here is this is more expensive by about, off the top of my head, $15 than Shampoo Plus over here. Now they claim that it's quite a bit stronger, hyper concentration here. Well, as you can see from the foam performance, yeah, not necessarily hyper concentrated, is it? The important distinction here, I actually prefer how Shampoo Plus feels in a bucket on the panel, just in general overall, versus Hyperwash here. Sure, it's slightly more concentrated. I really don't think you're actually paying for that much better product. And in fact, I really didn't like the feel. It almost kind of dried out my hands. It very much felt like it had a ton of detergents in it, and definitely not one of my favorite products. Also pretty darn thick, just like Meguiar Shampoo Plus over here. This D tier for me, definitely a below average product. Way better chemicals out there than this. Next we move on here to P&S Pearl. Their quote unquote concentrated car shampoo here. And I will tell you guys, this was the most underwhelming product here by many, many miles. Now, the big thing about P&S is they actually sell very high quality products, in my impression, overall, at a very affordable cost. I was thinking like, oh, this might be pretty awesome to try. The best thing about this product is actually how liquidy it is, but that you can also tell this has zero concentration. How they put concentrate on here blows my mind. 2 ounces of this, I'm pretty sure I could blow bubbles better than this on a car. This is pretty terrible. I actually, in fact, even put this completely undiluted in a foam cannon, and it still did not produce the best foam out of any of these products diluted at 2 ounces per 1,000 milliliters, which is insane. So this product, yes, very, very cheap. Maybe you can get away with it in a, traditional low flow pressure washer, 1.25 millimeter orifice. For big boy stuff, man, absolutely underwhelming product pretty much in every regard. This is absolutely F tier. Do not buy, absolutely avoid at all costs. 3D Pink Car Soap here is one that I was actually excited to try out. I've actually tried quite a bit of the 3D product line. I've been decently impressed with all of it. I think their product line is maybe like above average to average for a lot of what I've tested from them. I think they're very reasonably priced for a lot of their products. So I was expecting an okay result here. And man, really did not like this soap really at all. I think this soap really does almost nothing special. You can see the foam cannon performance. Pretty darn miserable here. It's super thick. It's okay, maybe it's cheap. It'll work in low flow pressure washers, but again, you're just paying for a bunch of water. This is not a super concentrated soap. I'm very underwhelmed. So for me, D tier, definitely below average. All right, so I know a lot of you have used chemical guys in the past, like we talked about with HoneyDew Snow Foam. This is Mr. Pink, I think one of their arguably most popular ones out there. And this just really, really shows you what you are actually paying for here. This is a little bit more expensive than the 3D, and I would say just as unimpressive to me. Honestly, the weird thing about this product is actually the bucket feel was okay. Had some nice micro bubbles. It felt pretty decent. And then you actually get it on the car and it just feels like it has so much detergents. Feels like it's gonna be hard to rinse away. It's very, very thick. It's a pretty expensive product, I think, for the quality of this, and that's kind of how I felt with chemical guys stuff for a while. So I guess for me, this is D tier, below average. I mean, will it work in low flow pressure washers? For sure. Would I recommend buying it? Probably not. It's really nothing more than that to me. Sorry, it's not that interesting. Sticking to the pink theme, 3 here in a row, we have Gyeon Wash. This was a product I was actually pretty darn excited to try out. I've been playing around with a couple more of the Gyeon product line and have been decently impressed, actually really impressed with their detailer. So I was interested to try the wash here. And I gotta say, immediately looking at this, underwhelmed. It is ungodly thick, like literally pouring molasses, and it is just so annoying to get into a foam cannon, to have to go back and forth. It's just far, far too thick. The performance here in the foam cannon really underwhelming compared to a lot of these, showing that it's really not a heavily concentrated product here. I think the redeeming factor here for me is it felt really, really nice on the panel, but I also would say in the bucket, quite large suds in there, so not that kind of micro bubbles, that kind of velvety feel that I personally really like. Overall, for me, guys, I would put this at a C tier. In fact, this for me might even blend the edge of like pulling it down to a D tier just because of the thickness, how annoying it is to use. I also have to say here, scent-wise, this is very oddly similar to Adam's Detail Spray. If you know that smell, very, very odd. So For me, I'm gonna put this at a C tier, an average product, really nothing more than that. I really kind of honestly expected quite a bit more. Moving on now to Luminous MINT, and this was one of the products I was arguably most excited to try. Number one, looking at this, guys, it's like flipping water. And then you actually look at the back of the bottle there and realize they call for a 1 to 1,000 in a bucket or 1 to 500 for severe dirt. So that's 10 milliliters per 10 liters of water. That is absolutely nothing. Now, I definitely preferred it at the higher dilution there, but I gotta say, this really impressed me on the viscosity of this being super, super thin, being able to mix great in a foam cannon, and then the feel on the paint was damn near perfect. Really, really impressive. It also smells very nice, very pleasant here. And the one really impressive thing about this product, the effective cost per gallon, because it's sold in liter sizes, is around $55. And I gotta say, the foam cannon performance was like right there. Now, given that it is a little on the cheaper side, sure, you could use a little bit more. Again, this test was really to determine using less product. So I guess effective cost-wise, absolutely, you could use like 3 ounces in a foam cannon and you're gonna be good to go here, given the cost point of this. But I gotta say, this is genuinely on the border between A and S. I would maybe give it like, we are right at the back end of S tier just because I want a little bit more concentration for the foam there. But again, given the cost, I don't know. What do you guys think? I am really tempted to put this at an S tier because it's a phenomenal product. Really like how it mixes. It's perfect viscosity here. Absolutely perfect. So I think at the end of the day, let's give this, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm between A and S just because of the test. Let me know what you guys think. So winding this video down here, we only have one left after Bilt Hamber Auto Wash here. And the only reason this product is actually in this test is because I knew somebody would freak out if I didn't have Bilt Hamber in here. And what's interesting is they use the very European style that this is really a bucket shampoo. And you can actually see on the bottle, 1 to 2,000 dilution ratio. So literally 5 milliliters per 10 liters of water. And I gotta tell you guys, this stuff in a bucket, damn near nothing better. This stuff blows you away. Now, I also wanted to try this in a foam cannon just to play around with it. Again, it's really meant for a bucket wash. Given the price here, you would never want to use this in a foam cannon because I think 2 ounces of this off the top of my head would equal like $3, which is absolutely insane. The effective cost per gallon of this stuff is like $196. So again, this is really meant for the bucket. Now, this is also an alkaline soap here. So I measured it at a 9.9 pH. I've looked everywhere for the SDS sheet. This was the only one I could not find. So if you are one of those people who maybe wants to have a great foam in your foam cannon and then really kind of have a very cost-effective product for your bucket, this would be the way you would go. I personally don't love that. Maybe I'll start playing around with it a little bit more. I mean, I gotta say, guys, for what this product is, it deserves S tier, but because Bilt Hamber doesn't really have something to, you know, foam on the car and wash like traditionally all of these products really here, I'm gonna put this on A tier. I mean, technically it shouldn't even really be in this test, but super impressive product. If you're looking for an amazing bucket wash, definitely try this out. I was really, really blown away with it. But again, it makes zero sense to use it in a foam cannon. I just wanted to screw around and play with it. And I knew somebody would freak out that I didn't have Bilt Hamber in this test. Well, guys, let's round this video off with a content creator's product here. Mr. I'm Josh V, Quivr Rouge here. And I intentionally left this last because I wanted to save the best for last. And this product absolutely blew me away. This product had unbelievable snow foam. Even leaving it on the car for over 5 minutes, it still had great snow foam on there that didn't degrade. It still had amazing lubrication. And speaking of lubrication, this was the last product I tried, and you would imagine after washing a panel 22 times over, you know, an extended period of time, some are going to feel slicker than others, but the overall slickness might go away a little bit with all the detergents and stuff. This was the slickest of the bunch by almost a mile. Like, unbelievably impressive. It really mixes okay. That's my one notch on this product's belt. It is definitely a little on the thicker side. Importantly, compared to DIY Detail Incredible Suds Type 2, very easy to mix in a foam cannon, and it's $10 cheaper than this. Now, if you're somebody who really likes soap like this, of course, I'd probably recommend you go there, but there is no ignoring what the kind of foam this produces on a super high flow pressure washer at genuinely 2 ounces. It absolutely blew me out of the water. So again, if you're using this on a low flow pressure washer, you can imagine how little soap you're actually going to have to use with this, because this is super, super concentrated. Hats off to Josh V. I am so blown away with this product. I think it's a reasonable price point, smells great. I'm blown away, absolutely blown away. Well guys, that wraps this video up, and I truly hope you enjoyed this. There was a ton of time, a ton of effort, a ton of filming, a ton of editing that went into this video, and I couldn't be more thrilled with how this test went. Again, I really thought this was super interesting to showcase the difference between purchasing really concentrated soaps and not so concentrated soaps. And I think we found some interesting things here, like Bilt Hamber Auto Wash that is, you know, a bucket only soap. Doesn't make sense to use in a foam cannon, but if you really want to save a lot of money, have an amazing bucket soap, man, there's not much better than that. But for an all-rounder, man, Josh V's Quivr Rouge is truly unbelievable. And again, going back to the marketing, it's so frustrating to me that companies just, I don't want to say lie, but like lead you down the wrong path and believing that they have the slickest soap, best snow foam, most cleaning power, and best dilution, when you guys can clearly see a lot of these that claim super high concentrations are very, very weak compared to other soaps out there. And again, that's why I did this test this way on the AR635. I know some people, probably a lot of these manufacturers, really won't like that, but I don't care, because you guys are genuinely getting shipped water. If you go watch other people's reviews using low flow pressure washers, all of these are going to be relatively similar when it comes to foam production. And honestly, I used to think the same exact thing until you get to this and you're like, holy cow, this is a bunch of water in here. So do you need to go out and go spend the most amount of money for a super concentrated soap? No, not necessarily, but I do like supporting companies who are actually giving you high quality ingredients, concentrated products, and not just shipping a bunch of water to your door. You can dilute it down at home. So that's my feelings there. Now, I do want to quickly talk about one thing that I did omit in this test, because I personally felt it was actually impossible to test, and that is the cleaning power of each one of these products. Now, as you'll notice throughout this, some of these are true pH neutral soaps. Some of them are what we would consider pH balanced. Some of them are even what I would actually consider alkaline soaps. Now, typically with that alkalinity, right, you have a little bit more kick, a little bit more punch in cleaning power. So that's how you see some like CarPro Reset, some other ones like that may be a little bit more intensive when it comes to cleaning. What I can subjectively tell you from my years of detailing is most pH neutral shampoos are going to get the job done. You're splitting hairs in between them. And in fact, I personally think it's almost impossible to test these back to back in a standardized test. If you think about this, I would literally have to get the car in the same exact condition of dirtiness level 22 different times to actually test this properly on one specific panel, because a back door is going to be different from a front door, a rear deck is going to be different from a hood. All of that stuff would play into it, and it's basically impossible to do, and the protection underneath is going to be different. Like, there's so many factors that go into that, so I would really focus less on that. Focus on the ones that give you high quality ingredients that are super concentrated, that really are a pleasure to work with, and skip all the other stuff that you're just getting shipped a bunch of water. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.